All right, y'all. We are here at Nemacolin Resort in Farmington, Pennsylvania with a special guest today. Actually, special because he's got the same name as myself, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Ryan Shazier, my man, thanks
How you doing?
for joining us. I'm doing great, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know this was Farmington, PA. I thought it was Nemacolin, PA.
Well, you learn something every day, right? Didn't your parents teach you that you'll learn something every single day?
Yeah,
so
right.
We're in Farmington, PA, April, and it's miserable out. So there's something new.
Well,
We live in Pennsylvania, so we kind of know what the weather's like.
I know. And believe me, it causes like seasonal depression for me. I know you probably being from Florida, having the Sunshine State, now it's like, oh, clouds. But
So what part of Florida?
Make the best of it.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, where people go to
Vacation.
to get away from this type of stuff. But I've been up north. Like, I got hurt my 5th year. This will be 10 years up north for 10 years. Then I was at Ohio State for 3 years. So 13 years of my life I've been up here. So
It's part of your blood now. At this point, you can't go back.
Yeah, and then to me, I just love Pennsylvania because it's not as fast paced, especially Pittsburgh, as Fort Lauderdale or Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to like raising my kids and things like that, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't really go back to Florida because my wife's from Texas. So it's like if I can't go home and she can't go where she wants to go. I think the fair ground is Pittsburgh.
Or in Pittsburgh.
It's a great city.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it really is.
So you come out of high school, obviously dominant football player coming out of high school. You commit to the University of Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you change to Ohio State. Was there a reason or what was it?
Yeah, like my whole life is just like a lot of crazy stuff happening. So I was committed to Florida for like 2 years.
Because but being from Florida, going to the University of Florida to play football, that's your dream as a kid.
Yeah, so actually I grew up a Florida State fan. Like I grew up a Florida State fan. I had about 50 offers as a kid.
Damn.
And my first offer was Florida State.
Oh,
My first offer ever was my favorite school ever.
So what the hell happened?
The position I played, they had a lot of linebackers. Like they had a lot of linebackers. And to me, I played defensive end in high school, and I was transitioning into a linebacker. So I didn't want to go somewhere that had 12 guys that I had to fight for a position. I felt like I was good enough. I still would have made it out of the group. But also I had to just look at things like, hey, what's the best situation for myself? So that's why I didn't go to Florida State. I loved it, but that's not what's best for me. The reason we was going to go to Florida is, they won a national championship. Tim Tebow was there. Then Coach Meyer, he was the head coach there for a while. So it was like, man, this is consistent. They're doing good, consistent winning. Florida was far from home, but it wasn't too far. It was 4.5 hours from my house. So if my parents wanted to pop up on me, they could. But normally, if you're driving 4.5 hours, you're going to let the person know, like, hey, Ryan, I'm coming in town. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to be, like, so far away that, like,
They couldn't see you.
They couldn't see me. So I thought Florida would be the perfect fit. My dad wanted me to go to University of Miami, which is 15 minutes from my house. But out of my 50 offers, they were the last one to offer me. And then I think they were just like, oh, he's home.
Yeah,
he's,
local boy.
Yeah, he's probably gonna.
It'll be easy for us to get him.
Yeah, it'll be easy for us to get him, but obviously not. So I was committed to Florida, and then I was going to school early, and so most kids go to school in July, and I was going to school in January because I graduated high school early, and then when I was about to go to school in December, Urban Meyer resigned. So when he resigned, I had 2 weeks left to
change.
What school am I going to go to? And the day he resigned, Ohio State and LSU were both at my school. Like both of the coaches are at my school. And when he resigned, like normally they'll come say, hey, because it was me and another kid named Jeremy Cash. Both of us had a lot of offers. We had a lot of people looking at us. So coaches would come through all the time. And we had other guys that went to smaller schools, but me and Jeremy were the big name guys at the school. And when he resigned and they already knew I was going to Florida, instead of them coming by and was like, hey, how you doing? Just trying to see how you're catching up, they stayed the whole day. Because they're just like, obviously we're going to have to talk to Ryan.
We're not leaving this damn high school until you make a decision.
Yeah, so they was basically like, all right, we're not leaving the high school until we talk to Ryan, see where his mind is at. And then I told him, like, even before I talked to my parents.
And your dad kept you in the room. He locked the door. He wouldn't let you out. You're going to Miami.
No, so my dad wanted me to, but he seen just how they were handling the situation, so he knew like I'm not going there. So they came to the school, and I normally talk to my dad about everything. Like I talk to my parents about everything, and this was the one situation I didn't even have to tell my dad. My dad kind of already knew in my head. When this happened, I already told both the coaches. I was like, hey, I have 2 weeks to figure out what school I'm going to. If y'all can give me to y'all school within these 2 weeks to visit, then I can probably make a decision on where I want to go. So this was before I even talked to my parents. That day, Ohio State was like, all right, cool. Let me talk to Coach Tressel. He was the coach at the time. And LSU was like, let me talk to Les Miles. LSU literally flew me out the next day.
No.
They flew me out the next day to visit there. And then I left there. Then I waited there at home. And then the next weekend, then like 2 days after that, I went to Ohio State. And then I like came home and I had to make a decision. Yeah, I had to really figure out what school I wanted.
I mean, as an 18-year-old, that's insane, man.
Yeah.
That's insane for an 18-year-old to make that decision.
I mean, you're talking about SEC or Big Ten.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
but I'm picking
quite the difference.
I'll be honest with you. I'm picking if that's me in that position. Well, I played
the
golf.
only thing you're doing is picking your nose. All right, so
but I'm saying if I'm picking them between those two schools, but I'm going to LSU for the food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but my whole life, I was allergic to seafood. So now.
That's not funny, but we'll get into that.
till yesterday. No, so that's a big decision.
Yeah. So it was like I had to really make a real tight decision. And when I went to LSU, I visited by myself. I visited the school by myself. Then Ohio State, my dad came with me. So when I visit LSU, my dad would say, "Hey Ryan, just have a good time. Do everything. Like just enjoy your time. Whatever you do, just don't commit at the school when you're there." Because the coaches, when you go to the school, they're gonna be like, "Hey, are you coming here?" Like, they're trying to not
bait you a little bit.
Yeah, bait you, but they're trying to lock you in, you know. And my dad was like, "Hey, don't commit because that's a decision that we need to make as a family, you know." So he was like, "Whatever you do, don't commit." So I was like, "All right, man." And I had a really good time. I was like, "Man, I'm definitely going to go to LSU." I told everybody like, "I'm going to LSU." Like, I had a great time. And then I came back from LSU, then me and my dad flew to Ohio together because it was a weekend, so my dad can get off and stuff. So we went to Ohio State together. On the plane to Ohio, I told my dad, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going here. I'm going to LSU."
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
So what changed your mind when you got there?
So when I got there, it probably could have been one of the worst visits somebody could have ever had. And the reason I say that is because I'm from Florida, and when I visited Ohio State, it was -4 degrees.
So you're probably there in January.
It was December. It was late December. I don't know why it was that cold in December, but it was -4 when I visit. And I came from 80 degrees. When I flew in, I flew in with like basically like what I have on now, like light sweats, you know, like windbreaker type of clothes. And then like literally I got off the plane. We walked outside and I told the recruiting guy, I was like, "Hey, like I need to get on I need to go buy something so I can, because it's too cold, you know." So I wasn't.
He said, "Don't worry, here you go."
Right. So he helped me. Look, so me and my dad ended up going to the store, like bought a jacket, and then we had a good time. But it was in the middle of bowl season too, so like they were practicing for bowl games and all that type of stuff. So a lot of their players weren't even there. So I went on a visit, and a lot of the guys that I would spend time with and get to know, I couldn't really get to spend time with them because one day they were there, then the next day everybody, like literally the whole team, was leaving to go to going to New Orleans for the bowl, for the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so some of the visit was there, and then some of it wasn't. So it was cold. I didn't get to spend as much time, and then that's when they were on quarters instead of semesters. So pretty much, not pretty much, the whole school was out of school. So imagine visiting the school and there's no students.
There's no feel for nothing.
Yeah, but the thing is, what made me want to go there is like I thought about just the whole situation. I was like, hey, if I play in the Big Ten with my skill set, I could probably thrive. And then also the guys I was around, like the guys I spent time with, I'm like, man, these guys remind me of like me, like the same upbringing, the same type of guys. I feel like I would feel comfortable around these type of guys compared to like guys at LSU. They were cool, but it was just, I feel like we were just like mental state and just the personalities. I just didn't feel like they matched as well. Like the time in LSU was great, but just how my upbringing and just what I was about and my family, like I just felt like
didn't mesh.
It didn't mesh as well as Ohio. So like the visit wasn't awesome, but it was just like the people made me feel comfortable. They made me feel like, hey, like this. They have the same kind of upbringing. These are the same type of guys. They have the same type of personality. They're more. They're like, we like to have a good time, but it's still more like, hey, I'm focused on football, but then I know how to have a good time and not do nothing stupid. I think that was, I wanted to be more around guys like that.
Yeah, it's good people, and good mindset.
And I'm not saying that LSU had bad people.
Right.
I just felt like
different.
It was a good.
So real quick, because what's now going on in college football, and I'm saying this to you because you were one of the best at your position for Ohio State of all time. The NIL, okay? What's your thoughts on that? You've played in the NFL. You've made good money. When you look back on it, do you think that that's the way for a college athlete, like, to make money? Or do you think it's fair as a player? Because what if you and I are playing, all right? We're on the Buckeyes, and I'm a quarterback, and they sign you for $1 million and they sign me for $100,000. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Because it's like, so you're still young.
The coaches don't really sign you. It's more about like
the companies and stuff. Yeah, right.
To me, I feel like I'm actually happy guys are getting paid, and the reason I say this is, like, for instance, like, say you were raised in a middle class home. You never really wanted for anything. You were blessed, and you were able to make it to college football. So making $100,000, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's a whole lot of money. Or making $1 million, that's a whole lot of money. But you don't have to ever give that money to your family. They still can be all right. There's some guys that literally, when the coach goes visit them, their living room is cement. Some guys, like, they're sharing clothes, they're sharing rooms with their family members. So sometimes that's a way to provide for their families. So I think it's a good thing for a lot of guys. And then also, Ohio State on any given day, on a football day in Ohio, is probably making $10 million, $15 million at least in the game. And everybody's wearing I'm going to just use my name, for instance, a number 10 jersey. It could have been Troy Smith, it could have been mine, but everybody's wearing my jersey, and I get $0 from that. I feel like that's kind of unfair to some people. And then also, a lot of guys are like, man, they get a free education. Name one kid at that school that education has provided. Like, obviously, if they blown up and became, Lex Wexner or something like that, and can give the money back. Most kids at that school, their degree is not bringing back $10 million to the school,
no.
$100 million to the school. No. So I don't feel like that's a fair indication. And then this is the last part. I'm sorry for cutting you off. This is the last part I like, is that some guys are awesome in college and not awesome in the NFL. So so
that's like their payment for being good at what they're at that moment.
Yeah, and I think it's right. Like, for instance,
it's a good way to look at it.
So, like, Tim Tebow was awesome in college.
And how much money did he make Florida?
Yeah, right. He was awesome in college. Like, I almost went there because he was one of the guys that was there. And Tim Tebow was awesome. And I'm not saying that he wasn't good in the NFL, but he was awesome in college. Right. So, like, imagine him in NIL. Like, that's like Bryce Young or, like, those type of guys, Lamar Jackson. Imagine him in college. I feel like they deserve that because just as many people watch college football as NFL. Well, not as many, but it's close. It's very close. It's
some people eat, breathe, and sleep that college football that don't have it in their territory. So what if so this is something I thought about that I thought would be good. You said something there that said, people come from nothing, essentially, right? So let's just say that guy somebody pays him $1 million, all right? Nemacolin comes in and says, hey, here's $1 million for the quarterback. What if $500,000 they get then, and $500,000 goes into basically like an investment of some sort, so that they can have that down the road? Because again, 18-year-old with $1 million, that's not good.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, I agree with you. I feel like there's a way that we need to understand how to teach the guys about how to also save it or invest it or grow it. Because, like you said, if I came from nothing, obviously most of the people that I'm around, they don't have the financial literacy to understand how to successfully continue to make money. Yeah. So I feel like if they have some type of investment or have something like you get half here and half later, I think that'll be great for a lot of the guys. But I do feel like the guys should be paid because some of them are much better than a lot of guys in the NFL. You know, it's a lot more people know who Bryce Young is than the backup quarterback for the Steelers. Or the starting tight end for the Steelers. And I know him, you know, like, but somebody in Nebraska knows who Bryce Young is.
Yes.
You know, but they might not know who, you know, our third string running back is.
Right.
You know, so I feel like those type of guys deserve that. Like, people across the world know who Kenny Pickett is, and he's at Pitt. You know, and normally people wouldn't know who that is. But with him playing as well as he has, he's going to be in the first round of the draft because of that. So
They're saying number 6.
Yeah. You know, so I feel like they deserve it. You know?
No, those are all great points. I don't disagree with you, and not to stay on that subject much longer, but I mentioned that when I had Marcus Allen on the podcast. You know, I think that the NIL is great for the players. It creates more of a challenge for the colleges to maintain the continuity across the board from year to year with their teams. I mean, you know, look at basketball, for example, or you know, obviously football, but, I mean, transfer portals going left and right. People are leaving teams after they've had great years. What about the guys from Alabama?
From Georgia. He wins national championship receiver, and he transfers after they win to Alabama.
So it's
just now.
So you know the best receiver on Alabama this year was at Ohio State?
No way.
Jamison Williams. He was our 4th receiver at Ohio State. Like,
so he trains.
And I'm not trying. And he's awesome. He's going to go in the first round.
Yeah.
Like, if he didn't get hurt, he's definitely going in the first round. I don't know what like the situation now, but you know, Chris Olave, he's first round. Garrett Wilson's first round, and then Jackson and Jigba, who's the kid who just tore off last year. You know, and then think about this: the quarterback for Texas had an awesome year. He's the starting quarterback. The coach from Oklahoma, awesome year. Caleb Williams, awesome. His coach leaves, he's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Now I'm at USC. To me, I feel like it's awesome.
Getting a little out of control, though.
I think it's awesome that they can transfer, but it is a little bit out of control.
It's tough.
Like, I think like we're taking the fact that people need to work for stuff too. Like, if you're a starter and you're going somewhere else, I understand. Like, all right, I'm trying to win. I understand that, but I feel like it is kind of crazy with the transfer portal because it is kind of hard to have continuity. It's hard to build a relationship with people when you're not there with somebody for a long time.
No, I mean that's what makes a team.
Yeah.
Playing together for time, having experience together, and building that team up to compete at an elite level, and then you just break it apart after 1 year.
It's kind of it's like the NBA now. They just pick where they want to go, and that's kind of like. I mean,
that's the way people just want to see wins. Like, people want to see wins. People want to see points. So that's kind of the generation we're in now. So it just allow people to go wherever they want. And then if you don't want it, you just implode it. You know,
it's like your golf game, bud. You play great up to October. You take 6 months off. You got to start over again, bud.
It's none of your business, bud. So, anyways, your time at Ohio State. I mean, you have 3 incredible years there as a linebacker. How awesome was it as an 18-year-old kid from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, playing in the show? Big city, bright lights, right? Like, yeah. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, no, it is as good as it gets. Like, to me, I thought it was the perfect mix because, like, Florida would have been awesome, but it's in Gainesville. That's kind of like.
I don't like that town.
It's like it's not much to do there. It's like a college town, which is it's dope. It's dope. Like, a college town is cool, but
right.
But Ohio State, Columbus is the 15th biggest city in the U.S. It's like, that's actually a city, you know, and Ohio State is in the middle of the city, you know, so, like, and then in Ohio, people live, breathe, and sweat Ohio State. So, like, if the Browns, if the Bengals, if the Cavs, if anybody was like, hey, we're going to play a game on Saturday, nobody's showing up because everybody's watching Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah.
You know, so it's kind of dope. Like, we're playing Akron, we're playing Toledo's, and literally there's 100,000 people in the stadium.
And those teams don't know what the hell to do because they're like, there's 100,000 people here. We're about to get waxed by Ohio State,
right?
Man.
Yeah, and I remember I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, man, like, a lot of people, when, you know, you go to certain schools, it's like, man, you might end up on, like, I'm not even trying to, like, throw shade, but, like, AT&T Sport Network or Balance Sports or you know, ESPN Plus and those things. But, like, Ohio State, you're on ABC every single Saturday.
But it doesn't matter who you play.
Yeah.
It's Ohio State football, Michigan football, a couple of those other ones. Texas when they were at their point. It almost is like the Tiger effect, right? You know, remember when the Tigers showed up, everybody was thinking, oh shit, like your Tigers here. We're done. Yeah. That's like Akron showing up at Ohio State. It's like, you're the Tiger. It's boys, we're just happy we're here. Like, let's go try to score points.
Yeah, I remember I was playing a friend of mine. Like, I don't know why we ended up playing them, but so we played FAMU, Florida.
Yeah,
FAMU. So like, I don't know why we played them, but
we
played. Yeah, it was a payout, obviously. But like, they came up to Ohio, and like before the game, like he was telling me, like they was in the locker room, like, yeah, man, like let's upset the world, da 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 da. Like, we're gonna upset Ohio State. Like, by halftime, they was down like 60. He said like people were crying at halftime. I was like, man, like,
but it's like a rag doll.
Yeah. It wasn't even like, I played 8 plays that game.
How many interceptions you have?
I had
probably 2.
No, I have 2 interceptions. I know I played 12 plays. I had 8 tackles.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
So that's a game you jump on a Saturday, looking at the lines.
This is my man here.
Ohio State minus 65.5. Book it.
Yeah, that is honestly. There are games though that's like minus 37.5. You're like, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I remember. It was one time before I got hurt. Like, we used to like bet like in the locker room, and it was like, hey man, Ohio State's playing da da da. They have like, it'll be like Ohio State's playing Nebraska. Like, then people like you want to bet? And I'm like, yeah, I'll bet. And it's like, I need the spread. I'm like, what's the spread? 35. I'm like, really? You want 35? And it's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll bet. And then it's like, you're taking 35 points. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then we'll win by 42. And it was like, bro, this is ridiculous.
So
that's how it is.
You have an incredible career at Ohio State. You go early after 3 years. You're picked 15th in the first round. My man keeps going further north and east. Like, he's getting away from Florida. So what comes to your mind as a 20-year-old? You're still a kid.
Yeah.
20-year-old kid. Now you're living your dream even more, right? Like, the whole concept here is chasing birdies. We're all chasing birdies in life. No matter what we're doing or what you do in your life, you're chasing the next best thing. You chase the NFL.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind when the Pittsburgh Steelers call Ryan Shazier?
So, like, you remember how crazy my, like, going to the college draft story was? It was kind of similar with the NFL. So, like, at the NFL draft, I have a really strong class that I was in. And I knew, I was like, I'm probably going to go, like, 15th or later.
Yeah, Khalil Mack was in your draft class?
Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry.
You ever heard of him?
Devontae Adams, you know, like, all the, like, you know, Clowney. Like, we had a really stacked draft. And so I was like, I'm probably going to go, like, I felt like I was the best player, but I was like, I'm probably going to go, like, 15 or later. So I was in there just, like, chilling. And so, like, around, like, the 14, 15 pick, I was like, all right, I'm probably going to get drafted around now until later in the draft. So I started, like I was, like, walking around. And so I was like, I'm not getting drafted at 5. I wished, but I kind of knew in my head. So I like, kind of got back to my seat at, like, 15. And then my agent was like, hey, Ryan, you're about to get drafted by Dallas. Huh. Dallas had the 16th pick. He was like, Dallas called me, they're drafting you. I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. All right, so then I'm like, my whole family was like, oh, man, we're going to Dallas, da-da-da-da. And then
you got your hat already?
Yeah, like, your hat's right here. Like, they have hats all over the place. Like, hats right here. And then, like, my phone rings. And it's a 412 number. And the only reason I knew, like, because back in the day, like, iPhones didn't say, like, Pittsburgh. You know, it was just be
said iPhone.
It just said, yeah, iPhone or, like, 412. And but I knew it was, like, 412. That's a Pittsburgh number because I had a teammate from Pittsburgh. So I was like, all right. So I was like, all right, let me answer this. And then it was Mr. Rooney. And he was like, hey, how you doing, Ryan? Are you ready to be a Steeler? And it's like,
hey, bud, I was already taken.
No, but, like, so the Steelers had the 15th pick, and then the Dallas had the 16th pick.
So they copped them.
Yeah,
they copped you off of Dallas.
Right before. Like, because like Dallas called my agent, so it was already, like, in stone for them. They already probably written it out. And then they ended up getting a great pick. They got Zach Martin. He's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, everybody made out, but dude.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But again, the emotions. You're in your mind, you're going to Dallas. You got your hand on your Dallas Cowboys hat.
Yeah.
Now you're going to Pittsburgh, boys.
No, but to me, I was actually happy to go to Pittsburgh.
Curtain,
I was like, to me, because, you know, I'm going to be honest, you know, Coach Tomlin, he's an African-American male as a coach. I was like, man, it's awesome just looking up to him. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. So I thought that was pretty cool to play underneath him. But then I was like, what better place to go if you're a defensive player, especially a linebacker, than the Steelers.
Yeah,
as good as it gets.
As good as it gets.
Yeah, so I was like,
That's
man,
the pinnacle.
I was like, man, this is awesome. So it's like I'm at a defensive team. The city is a blue collar city, and like they love their defense and linebackers. So I was like, man, I'm ready to go.
So who was on the team when you drafted? Was Brett Kiesel still there?
And Brett Kiesel was there. James Harrison was there. Troy Polamalu was there.
Right, boys.
A lot of them were obviously like
That was like at the end.
at the end.
But still, that's for you to learn off of somebody like Troy Polamalu. That's you can't buy that.
Yeah, I remember my first year playing with Troy. Like I gave up a few touchdowns, and I wasn't playing well. And I was like, man, like this is ridiculous, man. Like I can't catch a break. And he was like, Ryan, I should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year my rookie year. I was like, what? He was like, I gave up more touchdowns than any offensive player scored. He said I gave up like 16 touchdowns. Or something crazy. He was like, my rookie year. He said I should have won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was like, now like look where I'm at.
That's
True.
true.
He was like, don't worry about it, bro. He was like, just continue to just keep pushing forward and like if you're trying to be great, if you're trying to be good, man, you're gonna take gambles, you're gonna mess up, and just keep pushing.
You're chasing.
Yeah.
And you had that. You did that on the field.
This guy was
he
incredible.
was. Yeah, it was just so phenomenal to see that speed.
Yeah.
In that position.
Your damn hands.
And I'm obviously you're 29. Yeah. I'm 35, so I'm not much older than you. So, when I watch these guys now, it's like they're literally kids now. I mean, 21 years old playing in the NFL, 22. I mean, that's 12, 13 years. And I still think to myself, like, they're my age. No, they're 12, 13 years younger.
Bud, you're limping to the fridge to get some milk.
I'm laying in bed eating a Tate's chocolate chip cookie, watching football at night, and they're out there, doing it, man. But no, it was always an exceptional scene to be able to see the ability and the agility that you brought to the table. But the thing about it too was during that time period, I mean, you had Dick LeBeau, which, in my opinion, and I'm not a coach or a football guru by any stretch, but I think he was an absolute cornerstone for that defense, for that run in those years. I mean, and bringing up those guys like the Palomalus, James Harrisons, and so you came into that realm there, and I think that was a great learning experience. Probably is that something that you would agree with? That
I definitely agree with that with him, and then Coach Butts as my linebacker coach. I feel like they do a great job. They did a great job of just making sure you understand your assignment and actually, playing through the defense. A lot of times when you're younger, you try to improvise a lot. You try to like kind of do your own thing. You're like, all right, man, I know you know what you're talking about, but I know what I'm talking about too.
Instead going this way, I feel like I can go this way type thing.
Yeah. And they kind of held me accountable and then made me understand. Like, so one thing nowadays that a lot of dudes do is like they just focus on their job. And back in the day, they made me focus on everybody's job. So if somebody makes a mistake, I understand how to fill in and I understand how to help them fix their mistake. If you're just focusing on yourself, you can't help somebody else that's messing up themselves. So like if we're lining up and one of my teammates, we're supposed to be in like a certain front or a certain defense, and I see like, oh man, like he's not supposed to be there. Hey, bump over. Or like, hey, we're in this. Like you're thinking this, but we're in this. I know it's similar. Get over. Like that helps so much when it comes to just helping yourself, but also when you're teaching somebody and helping somebody, you better yourself. And they really helped me understand that.
So, you have a career with the Steelers. The unthinkable happens. What is going through your mind when they pretty much tell you you're not going to walk? Because this is why I'm so excited that you're here for the Chasin Birdies. This is Chasing Birdies, what we're about to go into. Yeah. So what goes through your mind? I mean, you successful college career, you're at all-time high with the Steelers, you're living life, you're successful as far as you're concerned, you're living your childhood dream, and that the unthinkable happens. So what goes through your mind? Are you thinking to yourself, I'm walking again? Or is it?
Yeah, that's basically what I told myself. I was like, I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to walk. And I told myself I'm going to play football again. Like I just kept pushing, and I didn't care what anybody said, what the statistics said, because like my whole life I've always been on the opposite end. Like to make it to the NFL, like if you listen to what everybody said, you'll never make it. Like the average person, they say, is like 1% to make it to the NFL. The average dude to make it to like in the NFL to make it to the Pro Bowl is probably less than 1%, less than 2%. And I did both of those. You know, going in the first round, less than 1%, like less than 1%.
Yeah.
You know, so to break all those odds, I was like, man, I heard you told me 20%. 20% means I have a solid chance.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm like, all right.
And that's what they told you.
Yeah.
20%.
Well, they told my family, and my family told me.
The mentality that you have to have for that, to overcome that, to keep beating into your brain every day, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. At some point where you just like, I'm giving up, or where you just, here's the thing that I respect so much about you. When this all happened, you could have gone away and never heard from you again. You were out there about it. You handled yourself so well. I mean, think about it. I mean, again, so what was the daily chase like for you?
So, you know, like, I never told myself, like, I'm not going to do this. It was more like, I'm tired. You know.
Did you feel any element of, like, a depression?
Yeah, I definitely was depressed a few times. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
no,
I definitely fought with depression. I was definitely sad. I was definitely, you know, overwhelmed a lot. And there were times I told myself, like, why me? But I didn't really try to dive into that, because a why me always has, like, is something always goes with that. Like, because if you start thinking like, why me, then it's attached with something else. You know, because like I remember, like, I was reading the book and it said, like, when somebody said, like, why me? So then you're asking, like, so are you asking it for it to be somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're
true.
saying. Yeah,
You know
why
what I'm
me?
saying?
Why not someone else?
You're
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
So I was like, so in the book it said, start asking, why not me? Now, why not be the one to show everybody you can overcome? Why not be the one to show everybody you can get through this? So it kind of helped push me to, like, all right, go through it. But I definitely had a lot of moments where I'm like, man, like I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm working my tail off. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm in the weight room every day. I'm watching film. I'm working my tail off. But sometimes you can work your butt off and still get the back end of a donkey. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes
Doesn't pan out.
it doesn't pan out. You know. But the thing is, I still think it panned out for me, because I end up, like, I'm showing people that you can still overcome things that you never thought you would be facing.
That's why it's so incredible to see what you did. I mean, again, they literally told you you're not going to walk again, and here you are. You walked into the interview.
Yeah.
You're as happy as can be. You have a beautiful wife. You have children.
Are you checking out my wife? No, I'm messing with you, man. I'm messing with you.
All right, boys, here we go. He's about to tackle somebody again.
I mean, all he's got to do is put his arm on you, and you're done.
All right, bud. You don't need to tell him that, my weaknesses.
I mean, it's it.
But again, it's truly incredible, and
So that goes into a big part of this show, or our whole premise on Chasin Birdies. I mean, there's an entrepreneurial element that was kind of awakened inside of you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you now have the Ryan Shazier Fund for Spinal Rehabilitation. And one thing that I noticed, and I'm not saying it's true for all your visits, but I was on your website reading about the fund, and I want to hear a little bit about it from you. But it has to, you're with people that are bound to wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And you were in that position potentially for life. And here you are walking in your book, Walking Miracle.
Yeah.
So, you know, what's it like? I guess, so talk a little bit about the fund for spinal rehabilitation that you started. I know it's kind of new, but also what effect does that have on you when you see someone who is bound to a wheelchair and you know that could have been you? What words of advice do you have for them?
So I always have different words of advice for everybody I talk to, and because everybody's story is different. But to me, this is I always try to, like, break it down. So most people that's in a wheelchair, they probably had a spinal cord injury or some type of illness that put them in a wheelchair. And the average person that's never, you know, been in that situation would never know what it's like. Like, you can't even imagine what it's like, even if you wanted to. You know,
Oh my
so
God.
like I always see people in a wheelchair, and I always like, man, it must be tough. It must be hard. I don't understand what they're going through. Like I really feel for them. But when you're going through it, it's like, man, like this is the worst thing ever. Like, so one thing I try to understand now and that is that I kind of understand where both people are coming from, both situations. And whenever I look at somebody, you know, I talk to them about their situation and what happened to them, because some people aren't going to walk again. Everybody, like, even, and I tell people that. I was like, hey, I'm not promising you anything, you know, because I didn't know if I was going to walk. I told myself I was going to walk. I knew I was going to walk, you know, but you know, but a lot of people don't know if they're going to walk again. They don't know if they're going to be standing again. So I tell people, hey, the biggest thing is, you know, you have to have a mentality just to get to where you want to go. You'd like to believe in where you want to be at. And whenever I talk to somebody else, and the foundation is about just allowing people to have independence again. And independence can mean so many different things. Like all three of us can be at this table, and our definition of independence can be different. You know, so to me, independence was being able to walk again, be able to play with my kids, be able to just enjoy life, not be bound by a wheelchair. To somebody else, independence can be like, hey, I want to be able to move freely in my house in my wheelchair. So our foundation,
great point.
It helps people when it comes to that. So we want to provide more resources, more rehab, and more just like independence and just understanding of the situation that they're in, because most people don't know how to deal with it.
With that type of injury.
Or
like lifestyle now.
Lifestyle also. Like I didn't know anybody that had a spinal cord injury before I got hurt. Most things that people go through, and I'm not trying to make it light of anything, like, because cancer is terrible. You know, when people have anything, illnesses is terrible. But a lot of times somebody in your past you've known with that. Like, and so you can go talk to them and like, hey, how did you overcome this? How are you fighting this? How did you beat this? Like, when you have a spinal cord injury, they don't have anybody that they know. The only people you're talking to is the person that's next to you in the hospital, and that person doesn't think he's going to walk again either.
Yeah, and so
even
it's
the
just
doctor.
negativity off of negativity.
Yeah. So we try to provide insight and just hope for people. And the average person gets about 30 sessions of rehab after they leave the hospital. And to learn how to walk again, you're going to need more than 30 sessions of rehab. So a lot of times we provide more like we try to provide more either funding for rehab, resources for your home, or just even just like peer-to-peer like counseling. You know, so we get like people understand like, hey, this is what I went through, and like what you're going through now, I've been through that, and this is how I overcame it, and this is my mindset to get through it. You know, and so those are the things we're trying to provide right now. And then we also have another program that we're putting in as well that's going to be able to help the family members, because everybody asks, how's Ryan doing? Like, you guys came in like, how you feeling? Like, how's, you know, people like, how's your back? How you doing? How you doing? And like, nobody ever asks like, hey, how's Michelle doing? Like, what was that like? Like, how was that like taking care of somebody that, you know, he once was in the NFL and now he might be in a wheelchair for the rest. Like, nobody asks the family about that. So we try to provide more support for those families as well.
That's a great point.
Yeah, man. Well, it is. I mean, in the name of your book, Walking Miracle, I mean, it's a perfect title.
Yeah.
But again, like I said a little bit ago, the way that he is handling you handle yourself. You know, I look at you on social media. You're positive. You're thinking forward. You're an entrepreneur. You have a book. You have your foundation. The insurance agency, right?
Yeah,
you're getting involved in.
Yeah, so I own I have a trucking company. A car logistics company. So, you know, when people are shipping cars across the country, then I own an insurance company as well.
So, see what I'm saying?
I love it.
Yeah, you're an entrepreneur, and you're making a situation that was awful. You've made the best of it, and you are happy in your lifestyle.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm truly blessed. You know, obviously, if I can, you know, just God, like, hey, give me one wish. It's like, if I could play football again, that would be awesome. You know, I probably would. You know, play football again. You know what I'm saying? But I always say, like, man, I wish I could have best of both worlds, and obviously you can't. But, like, I wish that, you know, I knew all the people and have all the relationships I have now when I was playing. You know, because I had a lot of great and solid relationships then, but I feel like a lot of people I have now are, like, genuinely in my corner no matter if I play football again or if I, you know, if I fail or if I win.
You're Ryan Shazier. Yeah. Not Ryan Shazier, the football player, right?
Yeah. So, like, I was like, man, if I was able to start playing football again and just still be on the same trajectory, but just had these people in my corner, man, I feel like things will be limitless, and I still feel that way.
So
that's a mindset, man. That's great.
Do you still go to Steeler games?
Yeah, I go to games. I probably
you pick the defense apart a little bit and talk to the guys, or what?
Yeah, I talk to them. I don't try to So when I played, I hate it. Like, obviously they will respect me, but I hate it when people were like, man, like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is terrible.
Here, you should be that.
You should do this. Like, the coaches just don't know what they're doing. I hate it when people did that. So like, I don't do that to those guys.
Right.
But like, they know, like, I know, like, I can watch them and see what defense they're in. Like, just because.
That's so sick.
But I don't go out there like, hey, you need to do this better. You need to do that better, because it's like you're not, like, because you're not on the field with us.
Yeah.
So like, guys will always hit you with that. But if somebody asks for advice or asks to talk to me about certain situations, I would.
It's funny you say that. I had a buddy that played for the Penguins back a couple years ago, and we were in a bar, and some kid came up to him and said, "Hey, man, we need to do this. We need to do that." He said, "Oh yeah." He said, "When were you in the locker room last, bud?" Like, you saying we, like, you're on the team. And that's the thing about Pittsburgh. I know you've noticed that. Pittsburgh fans are freaking nuts, dude.
It's awesome though, because fan comes from fanatic. Like, people that are diehard, love the game, and like, you want that type of people there. You want, like, obviously I hate when people boo. Like, even when my son went to a game, I remember like something happened in the Steelers game before, the crowd was like boo, and then my son was like boo. I'm like, don't do that, because the thing is, I was like, imagine if you were a dentist and you did a bad job and the dude was like boo. Yeah. Like, the dentist would be like, yo, like, you can't do that. So, like, it's the same thing with football players, but people just feel like they can say whatever to us. Yeah, So I try to teach my kid that, like, don't do that. But to me, I think it's awesome to have that, because when you're winning, but they're passionate.
They're so passionate.
Like, they're not booing at Jacksonville games. They're just not coming.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I'd rather you be there and then support us, and it's like, hey, we're part of this, because like, when people come and we have a big time game, that's how we win games. When people are jumping off sides, when you're like booing the other team, I think that's awesome.
So for you, you played with Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, he just retired. I don't think people realize how good he really was.
No, they really don't.
Because they just want him gone.
Yeah.
Because he's been for.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize how mobile he was, and just he was a smart dude. And
the biggest thing I would say that, like, Ben is really good at, and then I'm gonna be honest, like, even people, because I do a little bit of broadcasting and analyzing and stuff, and I've also talked about, like, just like the transition of with and without Ben. And I think people forget, like, the biggest trait that Ben has is that he's just a winner. Like, he figures out a way to win, no matter what situation is. Like,
he doesn't throw the towel in ever.
Ever. He doesn't throw the towel in ever, and then he always wins. Like, obviously, Ben has 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
2 more than me.
Yep.
And he has 2 Super Bowls, and then everybody's like, he's getting old, he's not playing the same. It's like, yeah, he's not playing the same. But he's been your quarterback for 18 years.
Yeah. And he won 2, and took it to 3.
It took you to 3. Like, name other teams. Like the Browns, their quarterback, they haven't had a championship since football began. Like, NFL was began, but it was before the NFL began, the AFL.
But what pisses me off about all this is the guy that's criticizing Ben Roethlisberger, he's out of breath walking to the fridge to grab a piece of pizza.
Yeah.
Like, but you haven't done anything.
No, I agree.
That's what annoys me is that, like,
that's the tough thing about it, and that's why I don't try to, like, criticize guys a lot, because it's just people don't understand how hard it is. And then, say if, Ben does something, everybody's gonna blame him, but it might not even be his fault. It might be somebody else's fault.
So for us, we're okay golfers.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, we're okay golfers, and
what's okay? Like, what's your handicap?
So I'm a 0.
That's better than okay. But all right, what about you?
Same.
And then you guys are telling me to come golf with you guys.
Well, because we're going to teach you, bud. We're going to get into that.
I don't have a handicap. Like,
we're going to get into that.
Bad. Like,
so, but
we'll get you a handicap.
My point is that
100.
We play, like, we play in these member guests, right? And we make it to a shootout where everybody that's playing watches you, and there's like 40 people watching, bud. And, like, we're pretty good at golf, and I'm nervous as shit with 40 people. You got Tiger Woods over here with millions of people eyes on him on a Sunday at a major, and he's just staring it down. You don't realize how good professional athletes are.
Yeah, no, it really matters. Like, for instance, like,
It is tunnel vision.
Yeah, you have to have tunnel vision. Like when we're playing football, like I said, like I would love when the crowd is real hype and real loud.
Getting after it.
But I didn't hear anything that they were like when they're screaming. I didn't hear them.
No.
Like I literally, I was so focused in. If we was in the game, I could talk to you, talk to him, and I hear you, I hear them, but I don't. Like the fans could be as loud as hell, but I'm just locked in.
Before we get into golf talk, because I know we're going to get into a little golf talk, obviously. How many plays do you think I would survive in the NFL?
It depends what position you play.
Like if I was a running back.
A running back. So the thing is,
what, a running back? You're going to run the other direction.
I mean, I'm 150 pounds.
The thing is like if you're fast and elusive, you can make it, but you have to understand like your skill set. So like for instance, Tyreek Hill is extremely fast. Like Hollywood Brown, extremely fast. Deontay Johnson, extremely fast, right? Deontay's more quick than fast. He's fast, though, but more quick than fast. Those guys, they understand, like, all right, I catch the ball, I get my yards, I'm getting down.
Yeah.
So
they get down.
They're not taking the hits.
So if you understand how to do that, then you'll be all right. But if you're over here trying to, like not run people over, but, like, break tackles, then that's when you go,
You got a short-lived career there, bud.
Yeah.
So, as we were talking about, you haven't gotten into the golf yet, but we're going to change that.
No, I've gotten in golf. Like I used to golf before I got hurt. I wasn't good. I probably had a decent handicap, like 15 or 20 or something like that.
I'll take you.
You hit the ball.
But at worst, if anybody wants to fight, we'll go.
Yeah, I can. The thing is, like, I can hit the ball consistently. I just don't practice enough, and I don't go enough. So like, I'm not.
That's it. That's the key.
Yeah.
So for you, what's golf? Like, what is golf for you? Like, if you
I love golf. I like the game. I like the game a lot. It just, to me, like, normally when I go with people, it will be more like I'm going to, like, cheer my friend on. And
drink some beers and watch them.
And but the thing is, like, you're drinking beer. I can't drink beer. So I drink, like, tequila.
Yeah. What kind of tequila? Casamigos, Clase Azul?
Clase Azul is my go-to. Casamigos is a nice secondary for sure.
Yeah, I like
boys.
it.
Well,
we're in the same wavelength.
Yeah, there we go.
So, yeah, we're gonna get you dialed on that. We'll get our friend Neil Walker, your neighbor too. Yeah. He's been on the show. He'll be here in a little bit, so we'll make that introduction to neighbors.
You know what's so crazy? To me?
I'll introduce you to your neighbor today.
So like,
Mr. Networker.
This is what's crazy to me. Like Neil, I don't know what college he went to, but
he didn't go.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what's so crazy, right? What's so crazy. Like, so me and Neil's development is less than 5 minutes from his high school, and so like he went to Pine Richland, got drafted first round.
First round, yeah.
To the Pirates, and then moved right back by his high school. Like, how does that work?
Like, hey, bud, when you meet him, you'll understand.
No,
like,
I'm just saying,
bud,
but I'm like, that's awesome. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you get drafted in high school, it's like, all right. Yeah,
I'm just going to plant my seed right here.
I'm just staying right here.
Well, it's a whole baseball family. I mean, the brother, the dad, they were all. I don't know. I mean,
I met him before, like at the facility. He came,
right?
We just never. I have his number in my phone. Like we text a few times, and just like
you should call him today and say, "Hey, Neil, I'm up in Nemacolin, buddy. If you're happen to be around, he's so excited. He's on the way here. He thinks we're going out to play golf, bud. It's 40 degrees outside.
Well, he just had shoulder surgery too, so he can't play golf.
I definitely want to like start playing with you guys so I can get good.
Well, and what's really cool is May 21st, right? May 21st,
13th.
May 13th. Let's see. You're having a charity event at Fox Chapel Golf Club. Field Club.
Yeah, two different. Like
Fox Chapel Field Club.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunday night you're having a dinner, right? And
so it's actually Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
But where the hell are you getting these dates and days from?
But I saw
I mean, it's like.
It's cool though.
I good.
But so tell us a little bit about that. Where the proceeds are going? Is it for your foundation? Yeah. Who's all coming? Because I'm sure you have some personalities coming.
Yeah. So it's for my foundation, and it's it's a joint venture with me and UPMC.
Okay, cool.
So we're doing it together. PNC Bank is the presenting sponsor, and so it's gonna be at the Fox Chapel Field Club, and then it's going to the Ryan Shazier Fund, and other portion of the proceeds are going to UPMC. and their foundation as well. And then Cam Hayward, he's gonna be there. Then I've contacted a few of the Steelers and see if they'll be there. I don't want to make any guarantees yet, so I don't want to say any names, and then they might not show.
Well, after we get
but a lot of guys said they're going to try to make it.
And after we get off this, we can put our heads together and see who we can get there for you as well, if you'd like our help.
Yeah, I appreciate it if you can get Tiger.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm playing.
But if I get him for you, we're going straight to him, pick him up, and bring him to you.
Yeah, we're covering travel too.
All right.
Yeah, but I don't know if Tiger's like commercial.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, bud, you're Southwest. You're C30 though, huh?
Yeah. No, that's great though.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I think it's just
that's great,
amazing because so we have a program called the Golden Window Program, and so that program we can portion off at least like $15,000 to like an individual to give to either improving the things in their homes, giving them more rehab, because like I told you guys, the average person gets 30 sessions of rehab. So if we can provide more rehab to give them opportunity to walk again.
So is that, and again, this is probably a different conversation, but is that covered by insurance, or is that coming out of pocket for that individual?
So the 30 sessions is covered by insurance.
Okay.
And then after that,
it's on you.
It's on
the individual.
Right. Not you. Ryan Shazier. Hey guys, Ryan Shazier is paying for everything.
Yeah, right. It's on individual, but the average cost for an individual that is getting rehab for a spinal cord injury by themselves is about $500 a session. So,
and that, people don't realize that there's not a lot of people out there that can afford that.
Yeah.
No,
it's very
few. Very few people can afford that. So, the $15,000, it can get portioned off to like what they want. If they want more rehab, like a portion of it can go to rehab, a portion of it can go to like adding ramps or elevators into their homes. I was about to say escalators, my fault. Elevators into their homes, and just allow people to be able to move freely and just give them more opportunities to have more independence.
Awesome.
I think Mr. Tom Smith is sitting right here, but I think that maybe late 2022 or 2023 we're doing a little event with Ryan Shazier for his foundation. Somehow we want to get involved, whatever it is. We want to help you guys out. So
no, I really appreciate that.
We can talk off air over a cigar or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of those waiting for you.
I seen a few downstairs that I got my eye on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we are at Nemacolin. You're here. You're with your wife. I'm not going to say anything because you almost beat me up last time. But you just had seafood for the first time ever here at beautiful Nemacolin.
Yeah, it was my first time. So I thought it would be so.
In Nemacolin, PA.
In Nemacolin, PA, at Farmington, PA.
Farmington, PA, that's right.
So what's so crazy is I have a nutritionist because I want to start eating healthier. I want to lose like 20 pounds. But then I end up finding out the nutritionist I have, she specializes in autoimmune disease. When we have an alopecia, that's an autoimmune disease. So we end up doing some blood work and just trying to see, all right, what's your allergy so we can make sure we have a diet plan for you.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, yeah, I'm allergic to seafood and nuts. I know I've been like that since my whole life. So we do the blood test and the urine and, you do blood, urine, and poop.
Poop?
And, yeah.
My man, he takes more shits than anyone. But anyways.
Hey, that's a good thing, though. That's a good thing, man. Somebody just said on Instagram I seen the other day you should take 5 to 7 poops a day.
What?
There's no way.
Poops.
I don't know if I can cuss on here, so I'm not.
Yeah,
trying
you
to
can.
You say whatever you
want, bud.
And I'm just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, so,
but I like the word poop.
Yeah. So we did that, and then when the test came back, it was like, yeah, Ryan, you're allergic to cauliflower. I'm not allergic, so I'm not allergic to anything. I'm just really sensitive to it because I have a parasite in my stomach that she said that I had in the last 20 years. And so now I have to just clean out this parasite because the parasite basically activated my autoimmune trigger, which caused me to have alopecia and then be very sensitive to a lot of foods and a lot of things like that. So I was like, all right, cool. So in that test, it told me that I'm oranges, strawberries, chocolate, coffee.
Damn.
God, it's everything good.
Yeah, coffee makes you poop no matter what.
Yeah, but I thought it was going to be seafood, but it was tuna, crab, and cod. Those are the ones that it was right now, Ryan, don't eat those right now.
How do they hone in on those?
Yeah. So like it was just because
Through
they
your
have
blood.
like basically I think they through the blood they do like they put your blood with all these different foods. So I thought like nuts would show up, and I thought like all seafood would show up.
But you've been missing out.
Yeah. So like my whole life, my parents been lying to me, man. It's like,
So when your
like,
wife was here yesterday, she like, today's the day we're doing it.
No, so I told her I was like, we're gonna go to Nemacolin. I know like we're gonna actually get like good seafood. I know it's gonna be like fresh. I know it's gonna be healthier. You know,
Yeah.
so I was like, all right, I'll try it here. You know, so I can at least, you know, we're on vacation. You know,
Yeah.
we have my EpiPen on the side. I have Benadryl ready. So I was like, all right, well, let's see. And so so I tried shrimp for the first time, or prawn, you know, whatever you call it.
That's a fancy word for it.
Yeah, and then I had Chilean sea bass and scallops.
Well,
They were fire.
I'll tell you this much, but
You went straight seafood out
Yeah.
the gate.
Yeah, I went.
I mean, you went shrimp, Chilean sea bass.
So I ate a lot of the shrimp. The sea bass, my tongue was like a little itchy, but my wife said it could have been like more mental. But I ate like half of it. I didn't eat all of it. So, I was like, man, yeah. Then I was like, yeah, let me just go get some French fries and a burger, and I'm just gonna relax for the rest of the day. But it was kind of cool, just like to know
Try new things,
yeah,
right?
to try new things. And then I thought this would be a good place to try it because I know the food's gonna be like
top.
legit.
tonight's going to be a good one tonight, boys. The Italian restaurant. You like Italian, right?
Yeah, I love Italian.
There we go. We're in. And then we're going to have cigars. We're going to do, we'll get him some tequila, you some tequila, me red wine, and everyone's happy. We all go to sleep happy.
Yep.
And you got your gout going on, so that's good.
So for me,
I mean, my man.
but I'm like 75 years old. I take a million shits a day.
Well, Ryan said he thought you were pushing 50. I said, no, he's 36. Wow. No, I'm just kidding.
So I take a million shits a day. I got gout. I got high cholesterol. I mean, but
Hey, I have a nutritionist for you. She can help you out. Sure.
we'll talk. But I'm telling you, like, if I eat those scallops, this finger right here, I couldn't bend it. It would be this big.
Like, why is that though?
It's gout.
Like, what is gout?
It pretty much it's molecules. It's like molecules that attack your joints, swells your joints up. You can't bend those joints.
I'm saying, but like what? What?
So it's a reaction to shellfish, red wine, red
you
meat.
just said you're about to eat
I
drink
know.
wine.
But
I
I
know.
got my medication with me, man. I got my.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna get you in touch with my nutritionist.
There we go.
And then so with my nutritionist, she was like, Ryan, you're allergic to a lot of this stuff. You think you're allergic to a lot of this stuff, or you're having a reaction. You probably have a parasite in your gut. Let's clean out your gut, and then we're gonna like allow it. Like, so you take all this stuff out for like 40, 50 days.
Not happening.
And then, hey, well, you're not disciplined, so you're not chasing
I'm not,
birdies.
though.
He's chasing pars.
That's it, man. That was
That was
good.
a good one.
That was good.
That was a good one, Ryan.
All right, B-Cat, you'll meet B-Cats. He's our little buddy here, and you know, he's got gout. He gets gout in his foot.
He can't walk,
So he
dude.
can't walk. So we'll be golfing, and he's like, "Fuck, I got gout."
He's limping
Can't
everywhere.
walk.
Dude, it's so painful.
I'm
not
saying,
gonna
but
say
like, you should try, like, at least just talk to her. you
I'll
know?
talk to her, dude.
talk to
You
her.
introduce me to her, I'll talk to her. But red wine is my like.
I'm saying, but like, all I'm asking you is to cut it out for like a month. If you cut it out for a month, you might not have gout ever again.
There you go, bud.
If she tells me to cut cigars out for a month, we're out.
Take his advice.
I'm just saying, hey,
But the rest, I can work with.
the thing is, she lets you live life. She's like, hey,
Right.
do this, like, do that. But she's like, hey, these certain things, like, just cut them out for a month, and then most likely you'll be good after that.
Is she in Pittsburgh?
She's actually in Cleveland,
Oh, nice.
but like, you don't really
Cleveland
get to see
Clinic?
it. No, she
All
works for the Cavs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you
But I'm
go.
going to tell you one day, I'm getting closer and closer to running out of a tunnel for someone. I want to run out of the tunnel for the Steelers or something when the fireworks are coming out. Something. I'm getting closer.
You were
to it.
close to the rink, bud, at some point, 35 years ago. Hey, this was awesome.
This was so cool. We got to be honest with you. I mean, you know, us being from Pittsburgh, having you here, telling your story, you have truly made the best out of what you've been dealt for your whole life, and it's been incredible to talk to you. And I can't wait to talk tonight and get to know you a little bit more and your wife. We're going to roll it over to our last segment, which is called the Tap-In segment. It's brought to you by Bettinardi Golf. It's easy questions for you to answer. Quick-witted answers.
All right.
It's not going to be too difficult. What does it mean to you to be a dad?
Oh man, it's everything. Like, my kids sometimes are definitely pains, but pain in the butt. But they're awesome, man. Like when I come home, it's awesome. Like when we're like driving in and you can see them like running to the door and just always like, daddy, or just always being there for them. And then now my kids are getting into sports. It's just awesome, man, because just to know that somebody like loves you genuine just because you're a dad. Like you put the effort in, and like they just want to be around you just because of who you are.
Yep.
And I think it's like the most genuine love that somebody can give you.
That's well said.
Biggest accomplishment.
My biggest accomplishment? Oh man. Oh man, that's a tough one. Because I feel like I've been through a lot of different like ups and downs. So
You have been.
I think my biggest accomplishment is just like being able to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people like I think more people didn't think I would walk again than make the NFL.
Yeah.
So I think, being able to walk again is probably my biggest accomplishment.
I'd agree to that.
That's
all.
Your favorite football moment.
Oh man.
And that can be a play, it can be being drafted, whatever you want.
Could be college.
My favorite football moment is we played Wisconsin one year, and Monty Ball was like trying to break the touchdown record, and he like jumped up to try to like score the touchdown, and I met him in the air, punched the ball out, and then we recovered it and won the game.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah.
I think
That's
I took
sick.
the under on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Your favorite cigar?
Oh man, what's the one I had last night I told you?
The Macanudo, right?
Yeah, Macanudo.
Macanudo.
Yeah,
That's my favorite cigar.
So far?
Yeah, like I've had a lot of cigars in my life, and I haven't had one that was like that one yet. So
Well, I'm gonna put you up to the challenge tonight, bud. We're gonna have something good.
I'm not a full body guy though. I'm more of like a
Light.
mild, medium type.
All right, well, I'll pivot right now, knowing that, and we'll be good.
Make it happen.
You're a full body type of guy.
I like medium plus to full.
Depends upon what he looks like. I mean, sometimes
I would try. I'll try it. I'll try it.
So here
I'm more willing to try. I'm willing to try most things though.
So here's what I tell people: like, you're gonna eat a good Italian dinner tonight, then you can smoke a full body cigar. If you wake up in the morning and just smoke a full body cigar, you're gonna feel like shit all day.
Yeah.
Like, if you eat something, you're good.
All right, cool. All right, I'll try it.
So, guys, Ryan Shazier, thank you so much.
awesome.
This was incredible. Now go enjoy your day at Nemacolin. Again, they've been incredible to us, and we can't wait to see you tonight.
You got an invite down south here to West Virginia and Bridgeport. I'm gonna take you to Pete Dye Golf Club.
All right.
You're gonna have a blast.
This sounds like
We'll
a
get
good time.
Pep. We'll get maybe Neil. We'll get some people. We'll bring you down there. I think you really enjoy it.
All right, cool.
You'll
That
have a
sounds
good
like a good time
Yeah.
for sure.
All right.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you
on,
guys
man.
for having me.
And it's awesome to hear your story. It's awesome to see you're doing great. Your family's doing great. Your wife's doing great. Your kids, and now your business career is taking off. So kudos to you, man.
Appreciate you guys, man. I enjoy being on here. And it's always great to come here.
Thanks.
And we
Love it.
go ahead.
What?
You can end it.
I can end it. Okay.
Yeah.